So whenever you listen to one of my podcasts or you're watching an excerpt from that podcast on YouTube and I'm discussing Metroid Prime Trilogy, you know I'm talking about it positively, glowing, just talking about how great it is. But there's got to be something that I dislike about it, right? That's what I want to talk about today, because there is something that I truly dislike about the Metroid Prime Trilogy that I've always kind of disliked about the Metroid Prime Trilogy. At first, I thought it was cool, but as the years went on, as the series went on, it just became something that I always thought about as why. So I want to talk about that today. Yes, I love the Metroid Prime Trilogy. You know this to be true. What I hate the most about it, the fact that it takes place between Metroid 1 and 2. That to me is the biggest flaw of the Prime series. That no matter what it does, no matter where it goes, no matter what creativity that they bring to the series, there's always the crutch that you can't go too far because the game that comes after this one is that one and it already exists. And there's games that exist after that one and that one. And now even more, because we're up to 5. So the Metroid Prime series being jammed in between 1 and 2 in that super early era of Samus's life is to me the most annoying thing about the series. But now, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is going to launch in December. And in December, Samus is going to be warped because Silic's crazy ass is going to shoot the artifact and we're going to be sent across time. Who knows where? Are we going years prior to Prime 1 or years after Metroid 5? And we go beyond anything the series has done. So that Samus can be far away. Look, I've talked about split timelines and things like that. For me personally, I just want to get Samus in the Prime series, which are these big console experience in a time where she can actually push the IP forward. It's what I love the most about Dread. Dread built on everything from Metroid 4. Everything that happened in Fusion was pretty much wrapped up nice with the X and everything in Dread. And now where we go from here, it's just freedom to do anything. And I would love that for Metroid, because while Metroid, look, we got Samus on Viola. She ain't never have a motorcycle after all of this game's story wraps up. In all the future stories, there's no other time where she's on a vehicle. She should still be on the vehicle if she, I mean, I get it. It's a suit probably tied to that time and given by some magical being of that era. I understand all of that, but she just never had a vehicle like that. So then it just makes you think like, man, you did all that cool stuff back then and then this. And that's what causes discrepancies in moments like the one in Other M with Ridley. Because it's like, we done this multiple times. We done been here before we did this. Remember? It's like, remember me? Clearly she don't. So yeah, that is my biggest pet peeve about the Metroid Prime series. And I really, really hope somehow, some way, be it split timeline or whatever, I want the Prime series to be able to live outside of the crutch of that time period so that Samus can do more, we can have more growth and things like that. So the fact that we're going to be thrown across time to who knows where, I'm all for it. Because you're going to be getting us out of that in-between Prime 1, 2 timeline. And that'll be the best thing that can happen. Hell, you could even move it further closer to Dread and I'll be fine with that. You know, like, it's just, who knows? Like, Adam, that could be Silex for all you know. Right? There's people theorizing, oh, what if Silex is a Samus from the future, something like that. I'm not really liking that idea. We've done already too many, you know, Samus-like beings that are her enemies. Samus it's okay for her to have different ops. That's what I love about part 3, is that there was all these different bounty hunters who were cool with her, but then they became your opposition. And now you had to figure out what to do. You get what I'm saying? And what she had to do was what she had to do, and she did it. She did the job, even though she didn't want to. It hurt her, but she did it. You know, and that was a great story and stuff like that is what I want to see more of, obviously. And I would love it to be able to live outside of that time period, you know. And I honestly, I would love for more synchronization between the 2D games and the 3D games when it comes to story. Like, it'd be the best thing ever if What Mercury's team and Sakamoto did after Metroid 5 was see what happens in Beyond. If it's not a split timeline, if it's the same time, whatever, let's say they move it after, yeah, we're going to make a game after that. So we don't got to make a game directly after Dread. We're going to, continue with this timeline. So now Metroid 6, which would still be the 6th entry in the timeline, it is after 5. It's after Prime Beyond. And it continues that story just in 2D. And whatever they do there, then Retro has to pick up the ball and run. You got what I'm saying with it? Like, that would be the best thing to happen for the series, that synergy. But honestly, while I do like that, and I say that would be the best thing for the series, I think for the general audiences, that would be the best thing. But for me, I ain't gonna lie, I would rather a split timeline where Sakamoto does his thing and Tanabe does his thing, and they do it free of what each other's doing, and nothing steps on each other's toes, because like, yeah, we doing this, we doing that over there. Samus could do this over here, Samus could do that over there. That's what I said. She should just get warped through time, and for some reason her hair green. I don't care. Let's just take Metroid 1, add that to the Prime trilogy since it came after that. Metroid 2 don't matter because we just did Prime 1, Prime 2, Prime 3, Beyond, Time Jump. 2 never happened in this timeline. To me, that'll be the coolest thing that they ever did. And it's like, yo, we done had this IP forever. I want this IP to go. I want it to run. I'm tired of the slow pace, and it's a slow pace due to the slow release schedule. This game being a success, and then us getting more, and them just pushing the story would be the best case scenario. You know what I mean? So I want more than anything is for this game to be, innovative in its timeline and story and connective tissue to the rest of the IP. And what better way to innovate that through time? And I know it can be cumbersome and mess things up. I'm like, that's part of time, and you just gotta, just fix it and maneuver through the changes that you made in the timeline. It could work, So for me, the thing that I mostly dislike about Prime, there's all the potential in the world now. Just from one little blurb on the back of the Metroid box, there's so much potential now for us to actually, those of us who actually would like the series. I don't think it's only me, right? Let me know in the comment section if it's only me, or if this irks you and you want it also to be outside of that timeline. Because a part of me sometimes feels like I just wish the whole damn thing was a prequel to all of it then, instead of being jammed between 1 and 2. Because it's like, I don't know. It's like, what came after, and then what came before, and you just have to like live in this space. You could do a lot, but then it's like you can't really do too much in a sense of character building, a universe building and pushing. Like Adam he's nowhere. You know what I'm saying? But he's a giant part of Samus's life in the future. And a lot of these characters, like, remember me? Sure, I get it. You play the game. They, were partners coming up during the training days of the Federation. But how cool would it have been if Anthony is like, pops up in Prime, so that when you see him say, remember me? Because, you're a wild one and you want to play Metroid Other M, it makes sense. Like, oh, snap, it's Anthony from Prime. Like anything like that. But it's like, they can't because they're in this time, or it's, it's just, we can't because that's Sakamoto's thing, so we don't touch on that. Like, there's just a lot that I wish could get, cleaned up for the series to have more freedom. And if we got to do a time jump and split the timeline so that Sakamoto can have his Samus and Tanabe can have his Samus, why not? Like Paper Mario, like I feel Paper Mario, he's far more different. It's far more story. Like that Mushroom Kingdom, and if you go by the idea of the way I look at Mario, due to Miyamoto, the way he painted the picture, and I was like, that makes perfect sense, where they always put it on the play. The play that they put it on for Paper Mario is crazy deep versus the play that they put on for, and I mean deep in story, the play that they put on for a Mario platform is more like Circus Soleil. So you're going to be seeing the craziest stuff and Mario jumping and flipping and doing all this stuff. But Paper Mario is more intimate. You know what I mean? Like, it has different feelings, and it almost feels like, it's a completely different character. Then you got actually different timelines in Zelda. I don't know. To me, it feels like it's okay. It would be okay. It would be more than okay for Samus to be freed of that. And if it means splitting time, then it means splitting time. But yeah, that's it. That's going to do it for this one. So make sure you screw attack into that like button, off that like button into the subscribe button. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.